Did you know there are watches worth more than celebrities' mansions and supercars combined? Yep, those are timepieces dripping with gold, diamonds, and complications that would make any watch geek gasp for air. So jump right in because today we'll explore some of the world's most expensive watches. Patek Philippe is like the Rolls-Royce of watch brands, so be prepared to see the name several times on this list. They created the white gold caliber 89 to celebrate their 150th anniversary by cramming in literally every complication you can imagine. It's got a second time zone, tells you when the sun rises and sets, and has a calendar that adjusts for leap years, which most watches don't even do. But get this, it can also tell you when Easter is each year. Figuring that out is no easy task since it changes, but this watch nails it. No wonder it's considered the most complicated wristwatch on the planet. With all that stuff packed inside, it's a beast of a watch too. The case is a whopping 88 wide and over 41 thick, but for over $6 million bucks, you better be able to fit your entire astronomy textbook on your wrist. Okay, at number 11, we have an absolute grail of a watch, the Patek Philippe 2 Crown World Time Ref Year 2523. Even the name of this thing sounds expensive, right? This watch is so legendary in watch circles that it's known as the Silk Road Edition, making it sound even cooler. What makes it such a flex piece is the dial. It's got a freaking map of Eurasia on it. But get this, it can also tell you the time in 41 different cities worldwide. No wonder only 3 of these watches even exist. With features like that, it's no surprise collectors will shell out over $7 million to own a piece of horological history. So this might just be your watch, only if you're a billionaire jet setter who spends your weekends cruising around Europe in a private jet. Coming in at number 10 is a watch that's basically like a mechanical miracle, the Vacheron Constantin 57260. This custom piece has an insane 57 complications, which required over 2,000 individual parts and took 3 watchmakers 8 years to finish. Some of its coolest features include telling time using the Judaic calendar, a night mode that makes it easier to read in the dark, and a super rare split-second chronograph complication. With so many revolutionary inventions packed into one watch, it's easy to see why it sold for a cool $8 million. And what's wild is despite all the complexity under the hood, the outer case is actually pretty understated. They kept it simple, so you can really focus on appreciating the unreal craftsmanship. Coming in at number 9, we've got the seriously iced out Jacob & Co. Billionaire watch. I mean, they don't call it the Billionaire for nothing. This thing is worth $18 million. Can you believe it's covered in a whopping 189 carats of diamonds? And we're not talking about your average diamonds either. These rocks have been specially cut to make them look 30% bigger. No small feat. As if that wasn't flashy enough, you can see the insane 167-piece skeleton movement through the face. No surprise boxing champ Floyd Mayweather snapped it up. With a price tag like that, this watch literally shouts "billionaire" from the rooftops. At number 8, we've got a true legend, the Paul Newman Rolex Daytona Refer 6239. Now, this is a watch with some serious Hollywood history behind it. We all know Paul Newman was an icon, but did you know he was obsessed with watches and cars? That's why when his wife had this custom Rolex made for him in 1968, she had it engraved with "Drive Carefully." With its cool black and cream color scheme plus serious vintage vibes, it's easy to see why collectors lose it for this piece. Even crazier is it only took 12 minutes to sell at auction for nearly $19 million over the telephone. It's not surprising that Rolex is the most famous watch brand ever. Next, we've got the holy grail of pocket watches, the Patek Philippe Henry Graves Super Complication. This timepiece has some insane history behind it. Back in the 1930s, some wealthy banker named Henry Graves commissioned Patek Philippe to make him the ultimate flex piece. And it took them 7 whole years to craft, since they didn't have computers to help like we do today. It has a ton of crazy complications, from telling you sunrise-sunset times to Westminster chimes, to replicating the night sky over Graves's house. It's considered one of the most complicated watches ever made. No wonder it caused a 15-minute outrageous bidding war at auction before getting sold for $26 million. Any fan of classic pocket watches would kill to get their hands on this piece of horological art. Okay, coming in at number 6 is probably the biggest flex watch ever, the Chopard 201 Carat. Living up to its name, this thing is covered in over 200 carats of diamonds. I'm talking sparkly gems in every color. We've got pinks, blues, and freaking huge 11+ carat rocks. It's easy to see why it costs a whopping $25 million. That's more diamonds than some people will see in their lifetime. This thing basically drips luxury. Some watch nerds appreciate the mechanics, but let's be real. If you're dropping that kind of cash, you want all the bling to leave people staring awestruck at you. At number 5, we've got a watch fit for royalty, the Jaeger LeCoultre Joaillerie 101 Manchette, which apparently cost $26 million. When you find out this watch was a custom piece crafted as a gift for Queen Elizabeth II to celebrate 60 years on the throne, you know it has to be insane. It's made of white gold and features miniature movements, some of the smallest ever, all interlinked by polished diamonds, perfectly befitting Her Majesty. With a classic design that oozes luxury and craftsmanship, it's no surprise this watch is reserved for fancy state occasions. Only the finest watchmaking brand in history would do this for the royal family. The number 4 watch on our list is the Breguet Grande Complication Marie Antoinette, which has one crazy backstory. Legend says it was originally commissioned for French Queen Marie Antoinette by one of her lovers back in the day. The only problem? It took Breguet a whopping 40 years to make, and she got her head chopped off before it was finished. Talk about adding to the mystique! No surprise, it includes every complication known at that time, all wrapped up in a stunning gold case. It was surely ahead of its time. After getting jacked once in the 1900s, it now resides in a swanky LA museum, but it can still be yours, for roughly $30 million, of course. At number 3, we've got a timepiece that is so fancy that it basically plays the world's most expensive music. It's the Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime Refaire 6300 A010. Crazy thing is this $31 million watch has 2 freaking dials, one on the front and back, with a whopping 20 complications, including 5 different chiming modes, hence the name, and an acoustic alarm and date repeater. It's easy to see why it's the most expensive Patek ever. The dials are mesmerizing blue opal and 18K solid gold, while the case and strap ooze luxury. Best of all, that acoustic alarm would wake your rich self in an extravagantly classy style every morning. Coming in at number 2 is the definition of ultimate baller status, the Fascination by Graff Diamonds, valued at $40 million. Made by famous British jeweler Graff, this watch is no joke. Not only is it a masterwork of watchmaking, but it's also a freaking diamond masterpiece containing over 152 carats of rocks. And get this, the 38-carat dial in the middle pivots, so you can wear the freaking watch face as a ring. Talk about value for money, am I right? This thing is straight glamorous with gems everywhere you look. Makes all the other ladies' watches seem understated. For those big spenders who love absolute luxury and flashiness, the Fascination is the definition of ultimate charisma. Alright guys, coming in at the very top spot is the cream of the crop, the Graff Diamonds Hallucination, valued at an unimaginable $55 million. Living up to its name, this watch will quite literally make you hallucinate with its rainbow explosion of over 110 carats worth of colored diamonds in every cut possible. From reds to pinks to yellows, it glimmers with more colors than a rainbow. Set into an 18K platinum bracelet, it's easy to forget this flashy showstopper even tells the time. With thousands of hours of craftsmanship and gems worth more than some countries' GDPs, it's no surprise the Hallucination set the record as the most expensive watch ever made. Between this and the Fascination, Graff Diamonds knows how to pull out all the stops. Wearing this watch would, quite frankly, make you feel like the richest man on earth. Total goals right there. So let us know in the comments which of these expensive watches surprised you the most. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Also, press the bell icon for instant notifications so that you never miss a video from Factastic Trivia.